So thank you, everyone. I'm on stage here because I'm really small, and usually the people don't see me behind. So I'm coming today with our PhD student, Mansa Grizik, and we're going to present a collaborative project which is actually about the Geelong Inventions. And it's a collaboration on not only on this paper, on a project. It was initiated by us at School of Engineering, Virtual Reality Lab, and we teamed up with our colleagues from Museums and Heritage Department, as well as from our Design Department at Deakin University. Let me just start with this idea. So in Geelong, as much as you know, there's been quite a lot of struggling around the traditional and heavy manufacturing closure. But on the other side, we know that there are quite a lot of inventions being associated with Geelong. So we thought, why not having heritage as an inspiration and use technology such as virtual reality, augmented reality, 3D printing as a kind of enabler or vehicle to communicate and to embrace and to interpret this heritage in a city region as Geelong. Geelong is a post-industrial city, and in 2017, the community decided that they're going to go with the scenario of being a clever and creative city region. At the same time, they got a designation from UNESCO of being a City of Design. So we teamed up also with our Deakin partners. Coventry University, you might probably know them because Coventry is a motoring hub of UK. So we just got another PhD student who is going to work on his project in Coventry. He'll be looking at Coventry heritage. Coventry is going to be a UK Capital of Culture 2021. And we here at Geelong, we are UNESCO City of Design. So this was first connection. And then Aarhus University in Denmark and BTU Cottbus from Germany joined us. In each city, we thought that it might be good to think about how this kind of heritage, engineering, design, manufacturing heritage could be communicated to local communities. And within each city, so we kind of started with the first case study here in Geelong. We teamed up with the city, as well as with all major GLAM institutions in Geelong. So being Geelong Gallery, Geelong Library, Geelong Heritage Centre within the library, as well as National War Museum. There is no designated museum, regional museum in Geelong. National War Museum is currently acting as a regional museum, although being designated to war. So the project is divided into 3 steps. So we kind of think of a bottom-up approach, so come up from heritage and from the community. So currently we are surveying local communities, what they think about this kind of heritage. Next year we're gonna design participatory community workshops in which we're gonna ask them what they think, how could we interpret this kind of heritage then in later time being developed with as what we call is today cross reality. This is a mix of different technologies, different realities for the purpose of engaging with local communities. So in the first step, it's more about heritage, the second is more about design, and the third is more about how engineers are going to build. So Manta is doing her PhD about how to develop 3D interactions for this particular cross-reality experience. So our aim is mainly to create stimulating learning environments and resources, not only for museums, but also for schools and other individuals who might be interested in automotive, in engineering, in STEM, to empower local community through engagement with digital technology. So this is something what younger generations would be interested definitely. Provide new technological skills to community to increase employability and engagement relates to, for example, if you think of virtual reality, it's still relatively expensive and not everyone can afford it, but you can go to a museum and you can experience that using public available devices. And then question the perception and stigma of post-industrial identity. So what does it mean being a post-industrial city? Do we want to embrace this? Do we want to forget and think about new identity of Geelong, of Coventry, and similar cities? And also, in our case, to address these issues of a lack of diversity in engineering. You know that in engineering, automotive, and similar areas, there's a lack of diversity in terms of gender, cultural diversity, and so on. So if we create some kind of experiences that will bring together individuals who might not be interested in automotive industry, in automotive itself, motoring, maybe that could be kind of a solution. So our informed decision was to start with one of the most, not to say prominent, but maybe recognized invention in Geelong, and this is the Ford Ute. I'm not sure how much should I go into that because you definitely know more than me about that, but these are just the key points how we want to present this story. So it's a story about the Depression years, it's a story about this letter that no one knows where it is. I've gone through different archives in Ford, and there are so many different interpretations of that letter, whether it was a wife, whether it was wife written on behalf of the farmer, whether it was the farmer who wrote it, what they actually said, but it doesn't matter. I think it's a really interesting story to tell. And especially we have then the story of this young, fresh designer, but it's actually the first designer at Ford. He came from South Australia. And then we got Ford that was then developed, and we kind of get this interesting quote like that LeBrand said to his boss, "Oh boss, then the pigs are going to have a luxury ride." So it was all about human-centric design basically already at that time. And then how this young Australian designer went to Canada and to Detroit, and he got presented to Henry Ford, and Henry Ford said, "Oh, it's a kangaroo chaser." You all know these stories, but not all younger generations know those stories. No, not tourists who come to Geelong, not interstate visitors know those stories. So I think this is important, how we get them into automotive, to tell interesting stories. And we have also a sad story. So we have all these things. We have a female person, we have this interesting letter they came, and sadly, as you know, Brand actually got killed in his car. He was not killed in an original one because he couldn't find it, but he actually chopped down a sedan. This is what he got at one of the farmers to recreate and drive around. So in museums, happily we had your exhibition in 2015. I was here in Melbourne and I was really impressed by the exhibition, and when I think now, it was kind of an inspiration without knowing it. Then we have National Motor Museum in Birdwood. There is unfortunately no Ford Discovery Centre, but fortunately all those cars, except the first Ute, I think it's with the daughter of Lou Band, it's now at Hamlin Heights. They're renting a place at the college there. Unfortunately, they don't have an original Ute. What they have are the newest versions. So one was featured at the All the Inventions That Changed the World in episode 4. I don't know how many of you have seen that. It's I think it's really good. It's really representing all these inventions. So On Foxtel, they started in, I think, in July. It's very fresh and really good production. So it's really worth watch it. So if you look at different, the whole history after the Second World War to these days, we can see the evolution of a car, which is another thing to think about when we want to communicate this kind of heritage. And why it was so successful. One thing was definitely because it's versatility. So original Ute was designed as a single body, and then when they cut the utility part and cabin part separately, they got this versatility and became a really successful vehicle. Unfortunately, the last Ford Ute was produced in 2016, and nowadays it's still a part of really, it's a really important part of an Australian folklore. I think it's really interesting. Myself coming from Europe, when I first came here, it was something that really intrigued me. Maybe if you live here for all your life, you don't see how important this is, but I think when you present yourself, how inventive, how some culture can be inventive, innovative, I think this is what it could be communicated. Of course, we have Ford lives on also with this whole stories about Ford and about Holden, and then we have youth festivals. And this is why we actually thought that might be a really important thing to get something back to Geelong people. And we decided to survey locals and ask them what they think. So Manta will tell us a little bit more about the survey.
Yeah. So one of our researchers is at the moment on the streets of Geelong, yeah, inviting people to complete the survey, because we really want to know what the locals think about Geelong design and manufacturing heritage. So we started recently, and based on the, let's say, relatively small amount of data that we gather so far, we get those kind of insights. And one of the first questions is, what are the first 5 things you think about or associate with Geelong's design and manufacturing? And it is evident that besides the other inventions, answers associated with Ford, car industry, car, youth are one of the most common. And based on the another answers, it's clear that the youth, it's actually almost 80% of locals heard about Ford Youth as a Geelong invention. These are also very, here are some, the locals were willing to share with us some fun ideas, how they think, what kind of experience they would like to have by using immersive technologies, what kind of experience they would like to experience. So here are some examples. Maybe picnic hire scenarios, sit by the lay down your rug and rest in history, make it a day out, various ideas. And while on the other side, nothing can replace the real youth. Yeah, nothing. Oops. And even from these answers, what we get out is that it's so important that Geelong community would like to celebrate the past and the future, manufacturing past. So that's also important fact. And they actually, but they have a little bit of problem. You can see in this blue text. They don't know how they don't know how to communicate this heritage. So that's why we are here. And we would like to design those cross-reality museum experience that they will blow their mind, and they will they will offer something different. And we are following human-centered design approach. And here, those blue bubbles are very important, and they are showing where the community will be engaged in design process. So we are really working closely with the community and understanding what they want. So we work in interdisciplinary, as Kaja already explained better than me. We work interdisciplinary in our team. Engineers, subject matter experts, heritage institutions, and heritage interpreters and designers work together to design those human-centered experiences, solutions for the end users. So as you can see in our line, so researchers from our team are coming from both sides, from the engineering and from the heritage, as well as from design, facilitating both of them. Kaja will explain.
Okay, so we're doing those. We're trying to survey at least 150 plus more local communities, 5 local stakeholders coming from heritage, education, government, tourism, and manufacturing. And we would like to, as already mentioned, create a virtual reality or extended reality experience. So if we want to do that, we first need a car. So we need a 3D model of the ute. And we are planning to 3D digitize one of the utes. So we're currently in discussion which ute we're going to do. A colleague from the University of Bamberg is coming at the end of November, and he's going to bring one of the 3D scanners with him, together with some handheld scanners for more smaller parts or even internal parts. So once we have a 3D model that it's a kind of a 3D archive, we can use it and archive it for next generations as a digital heritage. On the other side, we can use it for interpretation. We can use it for games, we can use it for different sorts of interactions. Mansa is going to look into that more into details. So this is how, so those scanners are used for collision detections, or for when you have a car accident, you might be able to 3D scan the whole environment as well as a car. And the idea is that, I don't know if you remember one of the earliest slides we showed you workshop with community, and we submitted EOI to the City of Greater Geelong for an event during this Geelong Design Week. It's going to be the first design week in Geelong, and our intention is to run a community workshop on the 24th of March to present the survey results, to run a roundtable with our stakeholders, have this VR demo with the 3D scanned ute in it, but without any interaction, just a boring 3D model, to have as a trigger for this participatory design workshop. So this is us. It's not a Ford ute. I think it's a Mitsubishi. I think that's what needs to try another one. But yeah, if you know anyone from Geelong, to participate in our surveys, not as a survey, more as a feedback and collection of data, because we really want to grow from, when we have a bottom-up approach, and we're open for everyone to contribute. So thank you for having us here.
Thank you, Kaja. Thank you, Monica, for a fantastic presentation. Does anybody have any questions about this fantastic initiative?
What help are you getting from Ford Australia, particularly their design people down there, because they have some extremely powerful 3D replicators, I would think.
Yeah, that's a really good
Globally
question.
and locally. Surely they must be really engaged in this.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and that was our thought as well. So I'm teaching product development at School of Engineering, and we've been working with Ford. For example, 2 years ago, I think, they gave us a Ford Fiesta 3D model. But what is it? These 3D models are not humanized, are very, are perfect. You know what I mean? They are before they got manufactured. With manufacturing, a little details get changed. So we want to digitize a real object with all its aura. Even if it's bumped, even if it has stickers, even if it has something. So that's a real object. So that's a little bit a difference between having this perfect 3D model. Second thing is, yes, we can get a CAD model from the newest versions. I'm not really sure if we can have a CAD model of the first 1934 yet. So we'll see if we can get the old one too, but we got some people to call us, and we'll be able definitely to get one of the newer versions from Geelong people. We'll see if we can succeed with the older ones. So we're in touch with Michelle Cook from a Ford archivist. Yeah, so we'll see how that will happen. So we are running currently at a small budget. We got seed funding from Deakin, but we would like to create a track record for maybe future larger projects.
Okay, we've got three. First one here, and then I'll go over there.
Don't fight.
This used to be my area. I worked in models and simulations for many years. Where's this leading at? Is this leading towards being able to replicate true artifacts in a digital format rather than just an amalgamation of just a bunch of models as we talked about? So you can actually capture the essence of the existing object so that it can be replicated or preserved for future. That's what I understand you're going with.
Yeah, we're coming from museology, we're coming from heritage studies. So our two ideas are first to document a real object that someone purchased it, someone bought it, someone drove it for 20 years, and it's not perfect anymore. You know, it's like having an old car in a museum, or whether you get a car that's never been driven directly from the production line to a museum. There will be a little bit different cars. One car will be a representation of a design. Second car will be a representation of the local community's aspirations, if I can say that. Yeah.
You need to talk to me. I've got a huge amount of material in my own archives about the use. The Castlemaine Hot Rod Centre is currently the caretaker of the Louvain Butte. It's going into our interpretive centre. We've been looking after it for a number of years on behalf of the family. I also know where what I believe is one of the original prototypes, and I know of a very rough original proper 34 unit and a very extremely well restored one, all of which should be going straight into your space.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would just like to say that we're actually here to get your feedback and get your help. I think that's, it's not us, it's just we want to do something for local communities and everyone who can help with some material data and connections, that would be, thank you, very, very great.
Thank you, Kaja. I can see this expanding out. I'm involved with the National Peak Body Group called Operating Heritage Australia. We represent, I would just call it planes, trains, automobiles, steam trains, boats, cars, planes, the whole kit and caboodle. One of our biggest problems is capturing our existing heritage, either because of its location or because of, we can't expose the general public to it because of safety issues. This kind of thing would enable us, if you can then transfer it over to other agencies and organisations right around Australia, it would enable all of us to then get this stuff to the public in a really convenient form. So I think it's marvellous, and please stay in touch with us, and can I stay in touch with the Operating Heritage?
Yeah.
But I think we can actually, there's a lot to be done there from us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We are really open. We are researchers from university. We develop workflows, models, and stuff like that. We're happy to help as much as we can, and we are happy to collaborate. So definitely, I think we all are here for the same reason. We want to preserve this heritage for future generations. We want to get them to be excited, as well as, for example, the website that we saw in the morning. I think that's a very similar initiative.
Thank you.